traveling cross country, traveling across the world. New York, Los Angeles, Mexico, UK, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Antigua, Puerto Rico, Montserrat, Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Spain, Geneva, Switzerland, Haiti, Dominican Republic. That is the life of traveling, being a nomad. Let's go. Supermarkets that I found to be the nicer supermarkets. There are a number of chains here, around 5. The Supermercado Nacional, there's Bravo, there's Jumbo, there's La Serena, and Ole. I think Ole and La Serena are one of the cheaper ones, and they're like our version of a Walmart. Some of them are nicer than others, depending on the neighborhood they're in. Bravo is a rather upscale supermarket, but not as large as Nacional would be. Supermercado Nacional. I would say, as far as price points are concerned, the ones that are more like a Walmart tend to be cheaper, but I didn't find the pricing to be that significantly different now. Bravo and Nacional offer many items that the other supermarkets that I mentioned to the register. They usually ask you, do you want something else? So you have your groceries, you're going through, and they're going to ask you, do you want something else? And they speak really quickly too. So on the back's your groceries, which is very helpful. If you're getting service, so if you have a phone that has the capability to take an open SIM card, Lotto is affiliated with T-Mobile, for example, your phone will automatically switch over. But if you do not have a plan that includes some of the basic things such as texting and data, you will be paying roaming charges. If you switch to roaming, some phones do it automatically, other phones you have to turn it on yourself. It can be if you need to make phone calls, you need to use some online app to do that unless it's covered in your service. I also have a phone for here, the prepaid plan, the one that is not the smallest but not the largest, somewhere in the middle. So it's about 415 pesos plan. And it came with a decent amount of data and unlimited texting through WhatsApp and whatnot. So for me, that was a good plan. So that's at least giving you some idea of what that's going to cost. This is not a country where you can really get around without speaking Spanish. There are a lot of people who do it. They use their phones, they communicate, whatever. But to really have a conversation with someone, to really be comfortably getting around the city, to pull out your phone all the time is not always safe, appropriate, or wise. I would suggest you take a class or get a book and slowly try to teach yourself how to speak Spanish. There are a number of applications that you can use. There are many, many, many choices, including a tutor. They have tutoring services here, or people that are offering tutoring. So basically, that's 2 months deposit and 1 month's rent. That is normal here. If you're not really going to stay more than 6 months, or you're the type of traveler who's going to be 3 months here, 3 months there, 6 months here, 3 months there, that kind of a thing, or you start with Airbnb and you make arrangements with the owner there to stay longer without having to necessarily sign a contract. You want to be walking distance from any place you want to be, and you want to be in an area that is relatively clean and nice and quiet, because the areas can get very busy, very noisy, and disrupt your ability to sleep, or if you're working at home or your computer. Most people don't want to live in a noisy environment, but other people can live in noisy environments. It doesn't bother them. I'm from New York City. Typically, it's noisy. Option and pain. If you choose to rent a car in the Santo Domingo area, in the city of Santo Domingo, you can find a car as cheap as about $250 a week, which is not terrible. It's certainly doable for most people who are vacationing. The caveat to that is that you would have to drive in this traffic, which is crazy. Okay, they don't follow the rules of the road, it's a crapshoot. So, but if you choose to rent a car, that's what it will cost you. The taxi asks you, or anytime you take a taxi, there is a way for you to choose in your map to drop your location or drop the location where you're going, and you can text that to the driver. My suggestion is to text where you're going, a little map, drop pin, or where you're going so that he can find the location. This is because they don't have addresses here. They don't have an actual home address. So you can drop a pin and tell them where you're going. To communicate to drivers, especially through InDriver, you will need the application called WhatsApp. WhatsApp. It works with almost all the phone services you're going to get here, if not all. It will work with the phone services that you might have in your own country, United States and Europe. It is necessary to use to communicate when you're here for services. So if it's a cab, that's one thing. If through an app, if it's calling a cab directly, it is another way that they use WhatsApp. I think I've covered many things. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to respond. This is Gemini speaking about my travel, my nomadic life, my new nomadic life. Peace. Gemini speaks, boom, 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 boom.